You stand at the foot of the greatest and most controversial architectural structure in human history. Place your hand on this cold limestone. What you are touching is recognized by the world as a tomb, the eternal resting place of a powerful pharaoh built by manpower, pulleys, and crude bronze tools. That is the story we were told in school. It is the safe truth mainstream archaeology wants you to believe. But here's the paradox that collapses that truth. Inside the Great Pyramid, not a single mummy has ever been found. No hieroglyphs praising the king, no grave goods, absolutely no trace of death whatsoever. Instead, we find astonishing optical precision, tight alignment with constellations, and geological structure more complex than any modern factory. How could a Bronze Age civilization create a structure with an error margin smaller than the thickness of a human hair? Have you ever wondered if impossible is just a word we use for technology we were never allowed to understand? In this journey, we will not view Giza as a graveyard. We will view it as a machine. We will peel back every stone layer to reveal a shocking truth. That 4,500 years ago, right where you stand, Humanitor, someone else operated a massive wireless power plant, harnessing energy from the earth itself to light a lost civilization. Look at the outer casing. Thousands of years ago, the Great Pyramid was not rough as it is now. It was covered in pure white Tura limestone, polished to reflect the sun like a gigantic mirror. But from a technical perspective, magnesium-free white limestone is a perfect electrical insulator. Inside that shell is granite filled with quartz crystals, a natural conductor. Does this pattern look familiar to you? A conductive core wrapped in an insulating shell. In terms of basic physics, you are not looking at a tomb. You are looking at a massive capacitor, an energy storage device on a geological scale, waiting to be fully charged. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you find this upcoming journey valuable. And let me know down in the comments where in the world you are tuning in to receive this signal. Mang Selim Slip. Now, let us travel back in time and deconstruct the story of a world that has been lost. You are standing inside the most mysterious room on the planet, the King's Chamber. Observe the materials surrounding you. Why did ancient builders drag these massive pink granite blocks, weighing 80 tons each, from Aswan over 800 kilometers south? If this were merely a tomb, local limestone would suffice. Why choose granite? The answer lies not in architecture, but in solid-state physics. Aswan red granite contains an extremely high content of silicon dioxide quartz crystals, making up to 55% of the stone's structure. And this is where your high school physics knowledge needs to be awakened. The piezoelectric effect. Picture a gas lighter or a quartz watch. When you compress or stress a quartz crystal, it releases an electric current. Now, scale that up to the macro level. You have thousands of tons of granite here, absolutely filled with quartz. And the compression force here is not your thumb, but 6 million tons of stone from the entire pyramid weighing down from above. You are standing inside a massive energy transducer. Earth's gravity constantly squeezes these granite blocks, stimulating internal quartz crystals to release free electrons. The King's Chamber is not a place for mummies to rest. It was designed to withstand pressure, designed to vibrate. The massive granite beams above the ceiling are not cemented together. They are separated to oscillate freely. When you listen closely, you do not hear the silence of death. You hear the whisper of accumulating electrostatic energy. This entire structure operates like a giant battery, transforming tectonic pressure and gravity into accumulated electric current. But where does this current go? It needs a conductive medium, a bloodstream. We must look down, deep beneath the bedrock foundation. Now, look away from the massive stones and direct your attention down to your feet, deep beneath the plateau's foundation. If the pyramid is the machine, then what lies beneath it is the fuel source powering the entire system. Have you wondered why this great structure was placed exactly at the Nile Valley edge, not deep in the arid desert? The answer is not for the convenience of transporting stone blocks. It is a mandatory technical requirement for operation. Beneath this golden sand lies a porous limestone aquifer, completely saturated by groundwater flowing directly from the Nile. Thousands of years ago, the river flowed right at the pyramid's foot, turning this area into a giant water-soaked spoon. But this is not pure water. It is alluvial water, rich in minerals and dissolved salts, essential for conductivity. In the language of electrical physics, we call this an electrolyte solution, the crucial component for generating power. Picture this scenario: a structure filled with electric generating quartz above, and a rapid electrolytic river flowing underneath. This is the basic principle of a chemical battery, but operating on a massive geological scale right here. There is a physical phenomenon called electrokinetics, or streaming current. When ion-containing water moves through porous material like limestone, the friction between the water flow and the rock creates an electric charge, harvesting energy from movement. The tunnel system and chambers beneath the pyramid are not random passages or tomb rubber traps. They are hydraulic valves. Research has found traces of high-speed water erosion inside deep underground trenches, carved with incredible precision. When the Nile rose, water flooded this system, creating immense hydraulic pressure that shook the entire plateau. Can you feel that vibration? It is not an earthquake. It is the beating heart of the machine. Water flows in, creates pressure, compresses the quartz, releases charge, then drains away for the cycle to repeat. Just like a giant piston pump working endlessly, Nile flow energy is directly converted into electrical power. This energy is conducted through underground veins to nourish the massive quartz block structure waiting above. But this raw current is very chaotic. It needs to be refined, amplified, and directed to be useful. To do that, ancient engineers, masters of acoustics, built the strangest room in human architectural history. Prepare yourself now to enter the Grand Gallery. You are entering a space that defies all traditional tomb architecture logic. The Grand Gallery. Pause to feel this slope. A perfect 26-degree incline, slippery and dangerous. If this was a funeral procession path, it is a disastrous design. But view this space as a sound engineer, and everything becomes terrifyingly perfect. You are not standing in a corridor. You are standing inside the throat of a massive amplifier. Look up at the ceiling. See the stepped limestone blocks, narrowing towards the top. Archaeologists call this a corbelled vault for structural support, but in wave physics, it has another function. These are multi-layered sound reflectors. This serrated surface prevents sound waves from bouncing back, pushing them upward instead, straight towards the king's chamber. Look down at the flanks, along the base of the walls. Do you see the 27 pairs of slots? History textbooks say these held wooden beams for statues or blocking stones. But let us think industrially. No trace of statues or rotting wood exists. The boldest hypothesis suggests these are slots for artificial resin. Imagine 27 pairs of crystals or metal devices mounted here, acting like massive musical keys. When low-frequency vibration from the earth travels up, these devices resonate, filtering noise and refining chaotic frequencies into a uniform, ultra-powerful sound being. Basically, the Grand Gallery operates as a giant Helmholtz resonator. It takes raw vibration energy from below, amplifies it hundreds of times, and synchronizes it. You are in a wave. Sound here is not for hearing. It is for physical impact. Vibration intensity here is so high it could ionize the air, creating an electric arc. Mechanical and acoustic energy is now ready, harvested from the earth, compressed by piezoelectricity, and refined by acoustics. Now, it needs an escape. It needs to be released from this stone shell to reach the sky. Look to the apex, where the most important piece is missing, and visualize a connection modern science only dreams of. Look up at the current flat top of the pyramid. Something crucial is missing there. An arrow-shaped capstone, about 9 meters high, which archaeologists call the pyramidion, or Ben-Bon stone. Legends and ancient texts assert it was made of solid gold, or at least plated with a thick electrum alloy. Why gold? It was certainly not just to sparkle beautifully under the bright sun for decoration. In electronic engineering, gold is the ultimate conductive and corrosion-resistant material. Let us connect the facts. You have an insulating limestone body containing a powerful vibrating energy core inside, acting as the power source. And sitting on top is a conductive gold apex. You are not looking at religious architecture. You are looking at the schematic of a device Nikola Tesla tried to recreate at Wardenclyffe thousands of years later. A high-voltage transmission antenna. The pyramid shape is not symbolic. It is physically functional. It acts as a dielectric lens. Visualize all acoustic and electromagnetic energy amplified from the Grand Gallery, shooting straight up the vertical axis. The tapering structure focuses all that scattered energy into one point, into a single, concentrated spot. The conductive tip. Energy density here is so high it ionizes the air immediately. And this is the final destination of that massive energy flow. The ionosphere. Surrounding our planet is an atmospheric layer filled with charged particles, located from 60 kilometers upwards. Physically, the Earth's surface is negatively charged, while the ionosphere is positively charged. We are living between two plates of a massive planetary capacitor. The Great Pyramid's task is to create a conductive channel. A glowing ionized plasma column to bridge the gap between the ground and the sky. Imagine that scene in the darkness of the ancient world. A brilliant purple beam buzzing with electricity, shooting straight from Giza into space. That is not magic or worship ritual. It is controlled discharge. It pumps energy into the ionosphere, turning the entire planet's atmosphere into an invisible conductive wire. Anyone, anywhere in the world, with a receiver tuned to the right frequency, could draw energy from the air. No wires, no loss. A wireless energy grid covering the entire globe effectively. But such a powerful transmitter cannot operate alone. It needs synchronization. It needs relay stations. And when you expand your vision beyond Egypt's borders, looking at the world map, you will see Giza is just a central node in a much grander circuit board. Let us return to the Grand Gallery once more, but this time view it as a crime scene. Do not let the majestic beauty deceive you. Look at the scars. On the high ceiling of this room, and deep inside the relieving chambers above the king's chamber, researchers have found blackened scorch marks eating deep into the limestone. Traditional archaeology explains it as soot from builders' torches. But modern chemical analysis tells a much more violent story. That is, not organic soot. It is the trace of a high-temperature, high-pressure reaction occurring in a split second, a chemical explosion. To operate this machine, the hypothesis suggests the ancients used hydrogen gas. An extremely good conductor and energy carrier, but incredibly explosive. The shafts, which we mistakenly call air shafts, were designed to inject acid in zinc solution. Into the reaction chamber, creating fresh hydrogen. When the system works stably, it is an infinite clean energy source. But what happens if the pressure regulator fails? What happens if quartz crystals are overstimulated by a sudden earthquake, creating an electric pulse exceeding design load? Look at the gaping cracks on the 70-ton granite beams on the king's chamber ceiling. They did not crack due to age or gravity. They cracked due to a massive force blasting outward from within. The walls of the Grand Gallery expanded outward by inches, as if the machine's chest swelled before bursting. A catastrophic scenario appears. A stray spark, an imbalance in the gas mixture, and then boom. A horrific hydrogen explosion tore through the internal veins of the pyramid. Temperature soared, melting stone, pressure deformed structure, and most importantly, ... It completely disconnected the plasma wave column leading to the ionosphere. In that moment, the lights went out, not just in Giza, but across the entire global network. Teotihuacan lost signal. Angkor Wat sank into darkness. The Age of the Gods ended not with a curse, but with a technical malfunction. Survivors, panicked and disoriented, gradually forgot the operating principles. Over centuries, the machine turned into a temple, technology turned into magic, and engineers turned into priests. We inherited a stone shell, but have lost the user manual forever. We often stand at the height of the 21st century and look at the past with condescension, believing our ancestors were just crude stonemasons trying to stack shapes. But standing before the giant shadow of Giza, that arrogance dissolves, yielding to a respectful fear. Perhaps human history is not a straight line ascending from barbarism to modernity. Perhaps it is a circle, a cycle of rise and fall. What we call inventions, today wireless energy, clean electricity, global connection, might just be a rediscovery of what once existed, more brilliant and powerful than anything we have. We are like children playing in the ruble of a shut-down nuclear power plant, amazed by the massive walls without understanding the current that once flowed through them. Giza still stands there, silent and patient, waiting for the day humanity is mature enough to plug in and flip the switch once again.